Is your brand alive? Because if your brand is not alive, it's dead. My name is Ed Howie, and this is How We Grow a Brand.
1, 2, 3.
If you like what you learned from this video, help us promote this channel by clicking the like button below and subscribing to our channel, How We Grow a Brand. Ready to go? Let's get into today's chat. So think about this. You have created a company, you've created a product, you've created an enterprise, you've just joined a company, you've just joined a new product division. You're on the new enterprise team, and you're focusing so much on the what that you forget about the who. Now, we talk a lot about who relative to who you're serving. And that is an important aspect. And that is essential as you're determining exactly what the purpose and intention of your brand, enterprise, product is. But who is your brand? Who is your brand? What is the personality of your brand? And does your brand have a personality? Well, I would suggest that whether you have intended to create a personality for your brand, if you're an existing enterprise, an existing company, then the behavior of your team has basically created a definition for the personality of your brand. We've talked before on previous episodes, like with Delise and other of our guests, about culture, and that culture is behavior and behavior is culture. So to answer the question, is your brand alive? Perhaps you need to ask, what is the behavior of my brand? And the first place to look is, what is the behavior of your people? What is the energy? What is the aura that being around your people or being in your stores or being on your website creates? Because I believe there are three key factors to determine if your brand is alive. And we're going to explore those succinctly and cleverly in the next several minutes. First is, what is the tangible personality of your brand? Now, have you ever thought about personality being tangible? Well, I believe it is. Think about someone important in your life, and to start describing them with 2 or 3 words that describe their personality. Let's say one of the descriptions that you would describe a friend of is thoughtful. Thoughtful. You are describing them as thoughtful based on behavior they have demonstrated, right? Because if they told you they were thoughtful, but they didn't demonstrate to you that they were thoughtful, or if a friend said, oh my gosh, that person is so thoughtful, but you never saw the behaviors that demonstrated that person was thoughtful, or worse yet, you saw behaviors that contradicted what you'd heard about that person, would you believe that person is thoughtful? No, because they had not tangibly represented that by which they had described themselves or others had described them to you. So, what are the tangible behaviors and deliverables of your brand that set your brand apart? Because remember, if you're not set apart as a brand, you're what? A commodity. No one wants to be a commodity, or at least if you're watching this YouTube channel, you probably don't want to be a commodity. And I got to tell you, 99.5 times out of 1,000, we don't want you to be a commodity either. Okay? So, first question, first thing to explore, what are the tangible behaviors, tangible descriptors of your brand, your enterprise's personality? And then second, are they describable? Are they describable? So you could be thoughtful, but the thoughtful could not necessarily be qualified in a meaningful way. Geez, Ed, what do you mean by this? This is getting super cerebral. Yeah, it is. Okay, but think about someone who is thoughtful because they feel like they're obligated to be thoughtful, or someone who appears to be thoughtful authentically. That their motivation is truly serving you versus the expected behavior, or let's just say the requirement of the job. To be a describable, alive brand, the behaviors of your brand, the behaviors of your people, the description of your brand that the marketing department pumps out on every single surface they possibly can. To be truly describable, they have to be truly authentic. Because if they're not authentic, what you've been told or what you heard or what you're expecting versus the reality of what you receive is indescribable. It's incongruent. It's confusing. So you want your brand to be tangible, but you want your brand to be describable. And to be describable and tangible, it has to be authentic. But here is where I think we truly can create a brand, a personality that is fully alive and fully authentic and fully energizing and fully magnetic and fully desired. And that is your brand breathing? Okay, Ed, you're really getting like kumbaya woo-woo here, right? Yeah, kind of, sort of, but bear with me. I promise you, it'll make sense. Does your brand have breath? Does your brand have oxygen? Think about your favorite restaurant. And think about the fact that that restaurant has an all-you-can-eat dessert buffet. Okay? You're on a good track, right? Okay. So there's this all-you-can-eat dessert buffet. And you've heard about this. You've been there before. Let's say you've never even been there before. You've heard about how incredible this dessert buffet is. So you order your meal and you're eating deliberately so you got room for dessert. And then all of a sudden when it's time to walk to the dessert buffet, you turn the corner, you see this spread, and it's dead. There's like one or two slices of cake. They're kind of like, obviously, the last two pieces that were cut. There's like some cobbler that's been sitting on the warmer for about 2.5 hours, and it's all crusty and dry. There's cookies that are burnt. And then there's these incredible chocolate-covered strawberries that were super incredible 3 hours ago. But now they're kind of melting and wet and soggy. You might call them moist. Ugh. Okay? That dessert buffet could have been alive. It could have been fresh. It could have been overflowing with joy. But the dregs are what remain. That's the difference between having a brand experience, a brand product, a brand personality that is alive and vibrant versus dull in the dregs. So how do you create a live brand? Well, as you know, if you've seen any episodes, oftentimes we talk about the cereal aisle. And I think this is where our buddy Tony the Tiger comes in. All right. Now, I'm not suggesting you create a mascot for your brand. However, I will tell you that just weeks ago, I had the opportunity to meet in person Tony the Tiger. And let me show you how alive he is. Kellogg's took a box of cereal and decided to create a personality that logically had nothing to do with Tony the Tiger, because Tiger and cornflakes have nothing to do with each other. They have everything to do with each other. So while you've heard me say and encourage you to look at your brand, your brand, even your products as a box of cereal, I encourage you to determine how alive you can make that box of cereal. How alive is your brand? Because I believe the most powerful brands, the most compelling brands, are brands that are tangible, that are authentically describable, and brands that have breath and life. And you, in your role, have the ability to breathe more breath and life into your brand starting today. What are you going to do? I hope this helps and inspires your day. If any of this works on your business this week, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or please message me directly. Can't wait to see what we chat about on the next episode. We'll see you soon.